复国，中央人民政府今天胜利了。
但是你们难道
刚才也问我啊，我可以回半点去，无可奉告，我也不高兴。
哎，什么叫中国共产党啊？党叫干啥就干啥。
黑夜即将到，一定要做好准备。
干死共产党！干死共产党！干死共产党！干死共产党！不干死共产党，绝不罢休！
消灭中共是正义的需要。
Hi, good morning. Welcome to Exposing the CCP. Good to see you again this morning. And also happy to see Mr. True007 and Chris. It's been a while to see you. How are you, Mr. True and Chris?
I'm very good, welcome back. Hope you had a good holiday. And say hello to Chris as well and the flower. So welcome to our program. We're going to continue talking about the June the 4th, 1989, and the truth. Thank you. Back to you, Chris.
Okay, thank you. I'm happy to be on the show again tonight, and happy to see Z to be back, and happy to see Mr. True007 every week. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much for your hard work. I mean, it's impressive that we have been having this broadcast for, I think, over a year now, and today we're going to continue to expose the truth about the CCP. And last week we celebrate the June 4th, not celebrate, to memorize or celebrate the birth of the new federal state of China. And today we're going to continue to expose more truth behind that and digging more details. And hopefully we're going to having a fairly straightforward conversation in today's program. And before we start jump into the conversation, and we're going to watch a video, and it's the NFC video prepared just to show the truth of the June 4th, 1989. Let's check it out.
Young lives filled Tiananmen Square. They were seeking what every soul longs for. Students stood, workers stood, mothers stood. China awakened. Then came the divine test. Satan knocks on human hearts. One by one, desire grew inside a righteous cause. Self-interest wore the mask of sacrifice. Pride called itself leadership. Fear called itself strategy. Doubt whispered, maybe the power Satan offers can still be used for good. Many hearts were tested.
But you are not suggesting, are you, sir, that you're not about to become the General Secretary?
It was a little bit shocking when we discovered that some people who were supposed to be on hunger strike were actually having a meal at the Beijing hotel.
Some wanted freedom, some wanted glory. Some believed they could ride the fire and control where it burned. That is how Satan works. He uses every heart that gives him permission. An instrument built to deceive, divide, corrupt, and destroy what is pure. The cry for freedom was swallowed by the Communist Party's struggle for power. The CCP chose slaughter. The bodies fell, but the mission did not die. For 30 years, the fire waited. Then one survivor rose from the ashes. One pure heart refined by suffering. He carried the unfinished mission. The new federal state of China was born. Remember this lesson, written in blood. Only pure hearts can finish what the fallen began. May God bless the new federal state of China.
Well, I think June 4th is a really big day. Then last week, you guys already celebrate the birth of the NFSC and watch the program. It was really, really impressive ones. And today we're going to continue to talk about the truth. You see that there are a lot of political struggles, and looks like it's just a event for demonstration of by the students for freedom, but it's actually more deeply rooted into the CCP's political struggle and was taken advantage of by some of the senior leaders. And I know, Chris, you have some information to share with us. Would you like to begin with that, please?
Okay, thank you. So from Mr. Mousego's previous expose, we can learn that the true story behind the 1989 movement. In 1989, the entire Chinese society stood behind the participants in front of Tiananmen Square. That movement put enormous pressure on the CCP. The participants were passionate, pure, and completely innocent. They simply wanted media freedom, democracy within the party, and genuine democracy. Yet, they never expected that they would ultimately be exploited by the CCP leadership and the old Western dark force, becoming sacrificial victims in a political power struggle. This was never simply a matter of the movement failing. The protest movement in front of Tiananmen Square actually began as early as December 1988. It was first initiated by Beijing Normal University, that is the political and legal system. The initial demands were very clear: to have media freedom and the ability to speak out. By early 1989, the demands were further upgraded to calling for democracy within the party and genuine democracy. At that time, Hu Yaobang and Zhao Ziyang were fiercely competing and working with each other to seize Deng Xiaoping's throne, that is, the actual control of the CCP, just like how Xi Jinping is now seizing power from the Youth League faction and the Jiang faction. This greatly angered Deng Xiaoping, so he first removed Hu Yaobang from his position and then had Hu Yaobang killed. As a result, the demand of the movement quickly shifted to mourning Hu Yaobang. Zhao Ziyang knew full well that once Hu Yaobang was dead, he himself would be the next target, so he decided to go all in. While receiving Gorbachev at the airport, he openly challenged Deng Xiaoping. After that, he personally went to Tiananmen Square to visit the students. At this moment, a group of fake democracy movement figures seized the opportunity and rushed in. They included Wu Erkaixi, Wang Dan, Hui Jinsen, Cai Lin, and her husband, among others. These people hijacked the entire movement, stole control of its narrative, and gradually transformed the original peaceful sit-in protest into negotiations, fake hunger strikes, and even went so far as to enter the Great Hall of the People to bargain for rights. The core period of the movement was March, April, and May of 1989. By June, when Li Peng stepped forward to speak, it was the clear signal that the movement was to be eliminated. At that point, Deng Xiaoping had already deployed the 38th Army and the 54th Group Army in 3 separate patches, fully prepared. In fact, as early as May 20th, 1989, the CCP leadership already knew that the crackdown was about to begin. By then, the top CCP leaders had already reached an agreement with the old Western dark forces. The moment the order came, they would clear the Tiananmen Square, open fire, and carry out a full-scale suppressions, after which power would also be completely divided up. Deng Xiaoping gave the order, and George H.W. Bush gave his tacit approval. Wang Zheng, Chen Yun, Yao Yilin families provided full support from behind the scene. Together, this group carved up power and continued to enslave the Chinese people. These real internal truths were unknown to the Chinese people, and the innocent participants on the scene of the movement knew even less. Their pure enthusiasm was ultimately completely distorted and turned into tools and sacrificial victims in the CCP's leadership internal political power struggle. The movement was destroyed, and its very essence was thoroughly altered. Even people outside the wall still know very little about the true inside story to this day. Fortunately, Mr. Mouse Guo has spoken out and revealed the truth to the world. Now, with the Getter platform that allows people to speak freely, the truth can be preserved and disseminated. And with the birth of the NFSC are ensured that the Chinese people will never again be held hostage in the future. NFSC will take down the CCP, realizing a genuine one people, one vote democratic election mechanism, and return the rights and power to the Chinese people. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chris, for summarizing this history. I think you know, there are a lot of things that we need to deeply thought about it right now, especially under the current globalization situation. I think it was probably set up by a group of conspirators that would like to incorporate China into this global government ideology. So they decided to, so they open the Chinese market to give them some a little bit of wealth and share with that, and especially exploit the cheap labor in China, and hopefully they can make more profit and eventually achieve it, and even using the communism as experiment to see how this totalitarian regime works and how people react to it. It's a very complex thing. And let's go to Mr. True, and I think he has also many good thoughts about this. And could you share with us, please, Mr. True?
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Z, for the information. So we know that the Mao Squad told us, the Tiananmen Square incident, massacre, it's not just happened on those couple of days. Indeed, half a year ago, it's already started the power internal structure. I remember 88, those times where China just started to show the so-called openness for the Western idea of the economy. Thoughts been discussed. I remember I was in Beijing working there for the central government. But I think then because 10 years cultural revolution results in the country really, how many people died, not to mention about the one birth, one family, one child policy. So it's in the urge of the poverty. So from within the CCP's group, you have Tuanpai, those younger ones. You have the old guards, elder guards, they don't want to change. But I think it comes to the point where, because you cannot last very long, there's a massive amount of waste of production, forces, cheap neighbors and so on. I think that's probably the point where the two sides of the CCP trying to struggle and so on. But I think they got their own agenda as well. They probably not totally trust George Bush and those guys, and that's why they get the part of our movement is to get the students sent to overseas to study. So I remember then Deng Xiaoping told us, I was working there. You got two choices: either go to the county, where you become the deputy leader of the county, where you work for 3 years. If you're doing well, then you come back and become a director in the, government Department of State of Commission, State of Development Commission, and you go to overseas to study. And then if you can get a master degree, you can come back. We also, reserve the same position for you as well. So you have two choices. Okay, so they call that age of students called the third ladder group. So it's out of Tuanpai. Okay, so third ladder group. So I think in that movement, so we, if we're going to study overseas, we're going to study English very hard day and night and so on. And then trying to get the test and then get those times for a master degree. If you apply, you can get scholarship still. But not now. You get PhD, even you don't get much scholarship until you are a genius. Okay, so that is the background. I'm so clear, and because some of my friends in Beijing, and they all participated. They all told me how brutal it was. I have one of my teacher who is in the Chinese Academy of Science. He was the director for the bicycles. Okay, he actually very top level. So he was invited by the U.S. Army to do studies in the regeneration due to combat laser gun. Okay, so how to develop therapeutic regeneration procedures from biophysical point of view. So I mean, those are the times. That's why I think I know very well the students where they were right. They were all together very enthusiastic, from Beijing University and so on. And I know quite a few of them. And then what happened is then I think in the Tiananmen Square in that day, then it was hijacked definitely by those fake liberation or movements. Okay, so we call them 假民运. Okay, so just those guys. I mean, that always happens when you're in a group. People want to have power. Okay, that's what happens when you get so confused. You have people like us, the new federal state of China. We say we want to take down the CCP, where the fake movement guys, they come out the West to United States, for example, always ask for money from the U.S. government for democracy. Maybe there's a funds, and that's what happens. And indeed, most of them, I think, have collided with the CCP. You can see when they go back, they've been received by the United Front Department, the National Security of the CCP, which is a very huge, big organization for propaganda and the execution of this so-called One China policy and strengthening CCP's regime in China and legitimacy. So you see all that seems confusion, but I think when you're talking to the people like in our group, we have those real ones, and they can tell you the story. I saw them talking about that a lot of time, and so happened. So then what exactly happened is what Chris just talked about. So Deng Xiaoping been part of those so-called swamp forces. They are not actually doesn't represent the Chinese president and their workers. They are the agent for the foreign conspiracy agency of globalists, and they do. You can see from how the finance is organized. Even now, every country have a very high inflation. Then the bank lending rate is like 7.5 in the Western country. And only in China, it's 0.1% interest rate. How could that be possible? Okay, so you see, they're still in a strange interaction to probably to just destroy the U.S. dollar's purchasing power parity, and also the credit of Trump's administration, and so this is somewhat complicated. However, what we can see now through new federal state of China, especially Mao Squaw's 10 years continually telling what the truth, what he has been experienced. We see a lot of videos, since he was one of the really supporter of the Tiananmen Square student movement, and his younger brother, his brother, was actually shot by 2 policemen, 2 bullets, and was prevented from treatment until he's bleeding to death within 2 days. So this kind of, when you hear the true story, you just feel shocked and how brutal the CCP is. So this is why you have people like Mao Squaw come out that I don't want to change the regime, I want to take down the whole CCP. So to liberate the whole Chinese people, take down. So basically, I want to terminate the CCP, the Communist Party system in China, which is a brutal system, killed hundreds of millions of Chinese people since the last 70 years, since the CCP was in power. So it's not curable, the system. It's just a corruption, no rule of law, corruption, and organ harvesting. Think about it. Fentanyl shifting, to try and kill Americans. And most initially is that the design release of the COVID-19 virus, and hence back to in 2 or 3 months, then the vaccination jabs to trying to pollute your DNA and reduce your immune functions, and therefore shorten your life. So all that got to be held accountable. I think this time you see what happened in the United States in the Congress. There's a lot of organization and commission developed to try to take the accountability of the CCP and also confiscate the billions of dollars of stolen money from Chinese people's hard work and exporting to the rest of the world, and get paid almost chicken feed wages. This is what happened over the last 30, 40 years. All this is the money of the CCP's families, not the Chinese people. I mean, the housing crisis is showing that the most people's wealth is shortened than 30 years ago. 30 years ago, they may not have any, finance loans and so on, and now they all have, millions of RMB because the finance for the car and for the units. The unit doesn't last for 70 years. The quality is shaken. There always fall downs and bad qualities. This is what CCP is. So what I need to say is let's pay attention to those details, and the mouse will come back, and then just take down the CCP together. Thank you. Thank you, Zhi.
Thank you so much, Mr. True. I think we if we can, we better take them down even while Miles School is still in the detention center. But I agree with both of you. What you said have summarized a great story. There's I think a lot of audience probably, if they aren't getter, they are very familiar with this globalization efforts, initiatives that all these conspiracists are trying to push. The CCP was just one of the tools that are used trying to implement a global one world government, and financially, politically, and even in our daily life, all these newly occurring, rapid increasing building of AI data center. What's the real purpose of that? Why do we need so much data? What if AI controls the power of the media? They control all this, manipulate all these narratives on the media and strategy. So we got to be very careful of that. But the first step, I think, is we have to take down the Chinese Communist Party because it's out of control. Think about just the COVID or the CCP virus outbreak back in 2020. They're building all these armies militarily, and also bioweapon labs, and we can't imagine what kind of disaster the CCP is going to cause to us. But together, we'll work together. Hopefully, we're going to build a free China, and everything will also free of the totalitarian, all the central world government. I think we're a little bit out of time. Sorry, I came joining a little late today, but we have a few more minutes for Chris and Mr. True to wrap up. I'll give the time to you, and start with Chris again.
Well, I think that there are too many secrets in the world and too many cover-ups, but too less people know the truth. So we need to take down the CCP and let the truth be known by everyone. Thank you.
Excellent. Sounds good. Yeah. Mr. Chu.
Yeah, exactly. I think the new federal state of China, through the whistleblowers movement, and everyone is working tirelessly in the global clock, 24 hours a day. We've been doing that for at least 6 years, up to the first 3 years, and 9 years, 10 years, almost. So I think the message is there. We're in everywhere, YouTube's, X, and GitHub. And then I think the US has been waking up the government, and the people also knows about that. They're basically talking about follow the money, follow the PP, and follow the new federal state of China as well. And they know also about the BGY's plan and all those terminologies. So whoever defined the ID, the words in a structured system, like taking down the CCP movement, who is the king or the leader? So no doubt the new federal state of China and those true fellow fighters, and you can see they're using all kind of tools, so everywhere on the social media as well. So we should be very, proud of ourselves. If not, and then we're going to continue to fight until we take down CCP. We know the economy is finished in the CCP, and then they have committed the human genocide, and they have killed together hundreds of millions of Chinese people themselves, and then all the human sufferings from this time the global leak of this vaccination. So systematically a murdering of human race, regardless country, religion, parties. So CCP is the common enemy of humanity. Let's see, and working hard, continuously take down the CCP. Thank you for watching us. Thank you.
Great summary. So let's take down the CCP, and we're going to continue to share more truth from NFSC weekly, and hope you have a wonderful day and week, and we'll see you next week. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Mr. Truth. Take down CCP.
Take down
CCP. Thank you.
Thank you, Flower.
This is Radio Beijing. Please remember June the 3rd, 1989. The most tragic event happened in the Chinese capital, Beijing. Thousands of people, most of them innocent civilians, were killed by fully armed soldiers when they forced their way into the city. Among the killed are our colleagues at Radio Beijing. The soldiers were riding on armored vehicles and used machine guns against thousands of local residents and students who tried to block their way. When the army convoys made a breakthrough, soldiers continued to spray their bullets indiscriminately at crowds in the street. Eyewitnesses say some armored vehicles even crushed foot soldiers who hesitated in front of the resisting civilians. Radio Beijing English Department deeply mourns those died in the tragic incident and appeals to all its listeners to join our protest for the gross violation of human rights and the most barbarous suppression of the people. Because of the abnormal situation here in Beijing, there is no other news we could bring you. We sincerely ask for your understanding and thank you for joining us at this most tragic moment.
No.